You're about to listen to TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello, Internet.
Hello.
And welcome to another TADPOG podcast, where three old guys talk about a game based on a movie, based on a television series, based on a comic that debuted the same time as another comic of the same name in England, Menace the Menace.
Yeah.
Which I watched. What did I watch today? I watched Angry Video Game Nerd talk about this.
Yum.
He was like, "Yeah."
Did he like it?
No. I mean, for him to do a video exclusively about one game certainly says something.
Does he not normally do that?
No, he'll combine and he'll do like Lethal Weapon. He did Lethal Weapon, but he did Lethal Weapon on NES, SNES, and Game Boy.
Okay.
So, but to dedicate just one singular Super Nintendo game
So
to
it was
one
the
game.
SNES version?
Yeah. So we'll get to that game and movie. Before that, how you guys doing?
Oh, all right. You know
Yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't have a whole lot to report this week. I got a tattoo.
I was about to say, you got a huge thing to report.
I got a tattoo. I forgot. We were here Monday, and I talked to Dave about it, and it didn't come up because we were recording the part 3 of the Dark Tower series for the Patreon.
Yeah. I thought you were saving this announcement for the...
Well, I was. I got my tattoo.
Very nice.
I got my wedding ring tattooed on my finger. It still hurts, and I think it's going to peel a little.
Yeah.
I'm trying to baby it.
It's real thick.
It's thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much
thicker
than mine.
Super sore.
It's much blacker and thicker than mine.
From all the scratching. If you go to the Discord, bit.ly/TADPOG Discord, you can see the results of proudly displaying my 4 stars tattoo on my middle finger of my left hand.
First TADPOG tattoo.
Yeah. Wiz and Sage
Hell
says,
yeah.
check it out.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
going to do this every time it's a 4-star. Or I could just cover up one of the stars. 3 stars. Wiz and Sage says, check it out.
That could be your silent rating when you can know us and just cover up the amount of stars you give any experience, and we know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
It'll be especially fun when we get to Flopsy tonight.
Could also be used as a depth gauge, I suppose.
Yeah. And whatever do you mean?
I really like you.
How many
You're getting
stars
the
you want,
3-star
baby?
treatment.
You're going to need to tattoo more fingers, I think.
But yeah, I got that done, and I've been warned. I was warned by the tattoo place. First of all, I'm going to publicly decry the Lower Town Tattoo Shop or whatever, Downtown Arts Tattoo. My wife had a plan for one for herself, and then we were going to get both wedding rings, and I ended up being the only one doing that. She got a different tattoo. And she had been trying to work with the artist from the place downtown that we originally were going to go, and they never got back to her. They never tried to schedule anything to come in, talk about it, get it done. We went there. The person that she had been talking to wasn't there, and the people that were there couldn't get us out of the fucking building fast enough. They were rude and dismissive and acted as if we had no business being in there.
It's weird. It's a weird direction.
It's a weird way. It's a weird way to do business.
Unless they just want to do flash sheet stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't know. And they probably do a lot of that because they get a lot of walk-in business from downtown foot traffic. Mm-hmm. They're down on Maiden Alley. And so, especially when the barbecue's going on or when we've got an event down there, they probably get a lot of half-drunk, young 20-somethings that come in there looking to get a tattoo, and
With their skibbities and
Yeah, exactly. Or skibbity toilets. And so
I told Choco Chica that the other day when we were going to Addie's graduation. She's like, I don't like this dress. I was like,
it's so skibbity.
girl, you look skibbity. And she paused. She's like, how do you know that?
yeah, TikTok young lady. We know.
It's not very Sigma of you to say that.
So anyway,
You're gonna get rizzed.
we got she was pretty dejected by that visit. We had pretty much done this the Friday before Memorial Day. There was a place that I used to go to. She had gone to before. A buddy of mine worked there long ago, called the Jolly Roger.
It's famous.
It's famous.
It's got a reputation. Around
My
here.
first
Good
tattoo,
reputation.
I got my Playful 8 tattoo at the Jolly Roger by this guy named Hank Swift, who has been doing tattoos forever. He was just a couple of years out of high school
I have
before
a story
me.
to tell you off the mics now.
Well, Hank we were in school with him, but he was a couple of years ahead of us. But his brother was in our class, and so we kind of knew him. And then he did my first tattoo, and he did one for her. And she was looking at up the Jolly Roger, which we knew wasn't in business anymore, but thought maybe it is, across from an adult novelty store.
Right across.
I mean,
the
it's
street.
literally
Yeah.
right across from a porn shop.
With a well-reviewed theater to go get a good hand from a bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we found out that he was working at a place called The Tattoo Shop, which if you're in Paducah, I highly recommend. This is the place I wish I had found sooner. We went by there. They had already closed, but the owner was sitting out front, and we pulled up and asked him if he had a minute to talk to us, which he did. He recommended his son do the artwork and do the work for her. And so he said, come by tomorrow. We'll get you taken care of. So we came by the next day, and he took care of it. He got her done. He got her tattoo on her. And then Hank's youngest daughter, who is fresh in the business, just freshly 18 and has just sort of gotten licensed to do tattooing, did my finger.
Okay.
Hank was unavailable because he was doing a big project, and his daughter was like, I turned to her and I said, can you do it? And she's like, yeah, I think so. Sure. I'm like, okay, I trust you. You're Hank's daughter. I know you learned for the best. So
I got 10 fingers. You fuck up, just start
fuck
another
up,
one.
Just start another one, right?
That's a good attitude.
Are you
She,
familiar with this person who's affiliated with the Jolly Roger?
It shut off. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear that story.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Anyway, although I don't know, dude, because the young lady that tattooed my fingers looks a lot like that.
Oh, really? She's my age.
Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't her.
Okay.
I'm saying I'm wondering if they're not
Could be.
related. Anyway, so she did the stars on my fingers, and I was warned ahead of time, these will probably fade pretty quickly because finger skin is different than the rest of your skin. It just doesn't have as many pores. It's real thin. I'm already losing a little bit of it.
Really?
Yeah, again, this is to be expected.
But that seems really fast.
It is fast. I mean, we're talking about 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I've been trying to take care of it. But it's on your fingers, and
Right.
even Hank came in there. He says, you crank your fingers all day long, and
Right.
you move them, and you do things, and you bump them, and it's just bound to happen. They still look good, and they're
Yeah,
not
they do.
they're
They do
not
look
fading yet. And I do want them to fade a little because they're super stark, like black.
yeah, they are like
It's like
super
really,
noticeable,
really
yeah.
noticeable.
Which I mean,
It's to be expected. Yeah. But anyway, so she's doing the stars on my fingers, and real pretty young lady doing it, and I'm talking to her while she's doing it, and she starts at the closer to my hand, and it starts working, and it's not too bad. It doesn't hurt too bad. And then she's moving her way down. And I was asking her, like, how long you been at this? She says, I've been doing it about a year. This is my first finger tattoo. I'm like, okay, you got this. Anyway, she gets down to the end, the last star, closest to the nail. And oh boy,
I bet that fucking hurt.
Tyler, I am here to tell you that fucking hurts. And I didn't I had this one done. None of it bothered me. This all didn't bother me. She was, she had to press really, really hard because of the skin being different and to get it to take. And so she would do a line and then wipe and it would disappear like it hadn't gone into the skin.
Oh my God.
So she'd have to go over the same
Jesus.
part with the needle again right then and there. I was doing my best. I held my composure pretty well. I was hurting, but I was trying not to show that, okay, because I was in it to win it at this point. I wasn't gonna not get it done. I wasn't gonna stop. I gotta get through this. And I had an option.
You got 3.5 stars.
I got 3.5 stars. I got to get 4 stars. I got to the point of thinking, okay, I either need a break or I need to just tough it out. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, if I take a break and I let it subside a little bit, we're just going to be right back here. So I'm just going to tough it out. And so I just had her keep going, and I was trying to tune it out, and my finger felt like a hot scalpel was being dragged across my top of my finger.
I mean,
it was. This pain was not at all like regular tattoo pain. Regular tattoo pain isn't that bad most of the time. Like, I've had this one done. It didn't bother me. Like I said, it's not been that bad. It just depends on where you're getting it done. This is a particularly sensitive area. So she's doing it. And she's digging, and she goes through the bottom part of that star, and she gets through that bottom half of that star, which is the part where it hurts the most. And she lifts up the needle and goes to wipe up the little bit of ink and just muttered kind of almost to herself, that had to hurt like shit. And I was like, it did. It hurt real bad. So she was like, yeah, I bet, because that's a real sensitive spot, So anyway, we got through it and it was fine. And she did a good job. And then she did my wedding ring, and that hurts a little bit on the sides, mostly where she had to fill it in. Mm-hmm. It's just area that doesn't get a lot of action.
Yeah.
There's just not anything going on in that part of your finger, usually between your fingers. But anyway, long story short, she did a really good job, and I was really happy with it. And they didn't charge much. And Tanya's tattoo came out really nice, and they didn't charge as much as the other place was going to. And so, yeah, the tattoo shop in Paducah, highly recommend it. 4 stars.
I'm
called
checking them out right now.
tattoo
Doesn't say,
shop?
it says check it out.
That's what I'm doing on my phone. I'm looking at the stuff they've done.
So, yeah, they're good. They do good work. And I do recommend going there if you can. And then aside from that, I'm about finished with Parks and Rec, which I mentioned. I think I'm on the last episode. I just can't get to the end. I keep getting interrupted. But it's really good. And there's a lot. The later episodes I never even saw, so I was glad to get to those. Especially the last episode. It's like a producer's cut, and it shows what happens with everybody in the future after the show ends. And I've really enjoyed watching that. And I think it's just, again, it's joy. That show is joy. It's happiness. It's positivity, and it's probably one of the best shows that's ever been on NBC.
Yep.
If I had to
It's
guess.
up there for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
And then in addition to that, honestly, Dungeon Crawler Carl has been taking all my free time. I have been listening to the 5th book, which I am very close to finishing, and I'm going to get right into the 6th, and then I don't know what I'm going to do without that in my life. I
think you should start the Dresden Files after that.
I may do that. I've really been enamored of this book and all these books, and the style is right up my alley, and I've really had a lot of enjoyment from it. And I also know that a couple more people on the Discord have picked it up and started reading now on my recommendation. So thanks for that validation. It's always nice when I recommend things and then people come back and say, thank you for that, because it's awesome. That's why I talk about stuff, is because stuff like this that I enjoy, that means a lot to me, or that is just fun or entertaining. I like to mention it here so that other people can possibly enjoy it too. So anyway, that's pretty much been my week. I haven't had a whole lot going on. Things have been busy at my place of employment, and when I get home from that, I don't do much. I sit and watch TV and play Overwatch and listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl and go to bed. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Dave, what have you been up to?
I've been reading some of that Dungeon Crawler Carl.
What?
Yeah. I'm not super far into it. I'm about like a third of the way through the first book. I like it. It's fun. It's like they say it right in when it was being described early on in the book. I was like, that sounds like Running Man. And then like
absolutely.
And then they referenced the Running Man. Like the main character says something like, this is like the Running Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really nice how hyper aware of their references they are.
Yeah.
And the way that they thread those in. There's a reference later that I was like, wait a minute, this is like Footloose. And then literally a few minutes later, it was like, Donut says, this is Footloose. And I was like, yeah, okay.
They do a good job about that kind of stuff. And like, I think it's really entertaining how they slip pop culture stuff in there without really like making a big deal about it. Which is very different than say like Ready Player One or something like that.
Really
because
different.
It's like, I love, like sometimes they explain it, but a lot of times they don't. There are two goblin shaman, Rory and Lorelei.
Yeah.
Not even mentioned like why they're named that. Nope. And then like the goblins, but sometimes they do mention like the A-Team where it was like Murdoch and the goblins named Murdoch, Hannibal, and BA. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. I like that. It's a really lighthearted, entertaining book.
It gets
so far.
it gets pretty deep, and it gets to there have been some places that have literally just made me choke up.
Yeah,
because they don't ever forget the funny, and they don't ever forget to leave out the ironic or the funny or the crazy. But occasionally, you find yourself getting wrapped up into these guys and cheering for them or crying for them, and it's just these really super fucking relatable characters that make the book such a success.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Good.
Yeah, I think
you're
it's
enjoying
great.
it.
I'm looking forward to finishing the first book, and sounds like I'll be reading all of them.
Cool.
I love Princess Donut.
God, she gets better. She just keeps getting better throughout the book.
It's such a good pairing.
It is. It really is.
I'm excited to meet new characters, and I am excited to see how seeds that have been planted already in this book come to harvest if they do. So yeah,
it'll be fun.
I'm a fan.
It'll be fun for you. I'll be glad to be able to talk to you about it whenever you get down the road.
I go at a slower pace.
Yeah, no worries.
But I'm looking forward to it as well.
I might start it over.
You will probably finish it a second time before I finish it at first.
Yeah, I mean, I just dig it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
I got Warrior to 90. I can't remember if I said that.
You were close.
Yeah.
You were talking about getting there.
It's there.
Nice.
And it is my favorite class, favorite job in the game. It is probably what I'm going to play through the next expansion, Dawn Trail, which comes out soon, very soon, late June, early July. So yeah, I'll probably play through it first as Warrior.
Sweet.
Tanking has been a lot of fun, as I mentioned previously. Gets that heart rate going sometimes, which is nice. Other than that, I played a little Fortnite with Henry, and man, we did good. And that kid is good at that game and has gotten so much better at that game that it is really it's nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice to like, we gel when we play, and that's nice. And they've done some stuff like, they're constantly updating that game. They've got like, because he was getting frustrated because he said he kept dying to vehicles. And the reason that's the case is because they're doing this. I don't think it's an official Mad Max thing, but they're like,
like a Furiosa-ish.
and it might be. I don't know. I didn't really look into it, but there's this whole thing right now where it's like there are stations set up where if you drive up to it with a vehicle, you can get it modded with like bulletproof tires, spiked bumpers. You can mount machine guns on the roof. You can mount grenade launchers on the roof. So he was expressing that he was tired of dying to vehicles. And I was like, well, then let's do that. Let's
get a vehicle.
Let's get a vehicle and do it, because that seems like it could be fun. And he's like, okay. And then, oh, God, we ripped. We ripped, man. Because I love, in those kinds of games, like in Animal Royale.
Yeah.
Getting the hamster ball.
Yes.
I love vehicles in Battle Royale games. So this was, like, great for me, because it's like, dude, let's just get a machine gun mounted on this thing. I love to drive in these games.
Yeah.
I'm just going to drive around, and you can just gun people down. So yeah, we did that. That was fun. They're doing some kind of like, again, because I didn't like. Here's how I get. He's like, you want to play Fortnite? I'm like, okay. And then I get in and I don't look at anything and I just jump right in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but there are vaults in the game now currently where you can go in, and they have, and I guess it's like Fallout style ish. And they've got these weapons in the game now. God, I can't remember exactly what they're called. They're like hydro fists or something like that. And man, I love all the melee stuff in that game, because people don't know how to deal with that shit.
No, they don't.
Because it's a game about shooting primarily. So when you roll in with these fists, where if like you do the alternate attack, you do like a Shoryuken, like a rising dragon punch.
Okay, yeah.
And then if you do your main attack while you're up in the air, you slam back down with the fists. And there have been so many. There've just been so many encounters where like I'll have the fists. Henry knows I like those, so we find them. I mean, he likes them too, but I got priority on the fists. I'll find them, and then we'll do Raptor style. We'll find somebody, and he's got a gun. He's got like an AR, and he'll start shooting at them
To get their attention.
Get their attention. They'll start coming towards him, and I'll wrap around and then get them with the fists.
Clever girl.
It's fun, man. It's fun. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. How about you, Tyler?
Let's see. I've got about 4 hours left on Defiant, which is, I didn't know it was the last book, which is the last book in Sanderson's Starlight series, which has been great. I don't know how it's going to end. I still have 4 hours left, and I'm not sure where it's going, I like that. So after that, I'll probably start Dungeon Carl then, since I need to jump on that train. That fairy sex book can wait. The Crescent City, that Sarah J. Maas book can wait.
You don't hear that often.
That fairy sex book can wait.
Melissa and I got current of what's on Hulu for What We Do in the Shadows. Love that fucking show.
That's a good show. I'm not current, but that's a good show.
God, Matt Berry's fucking
Matt
good.
Berry's great.
I watched the movie, and then years later the show came out.
Yeah,
and,
we talked about watching the
watched
movie.
a little bit of the movie, or a little bit of the show, and it was. I love how consistent it is. Like with the style of the movie, it translated well into a series.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Let's see what else. I've been playing Fallout, which I'm enjoying. Just playing as Roland Deschanel on Fallout. I haven't streamed lately. I just haven't really felt like it. Stuff's been busy. I'm going to be in New Orleans next week. Melissa wanted to go there for vacation.
Nice.
So she's put in like 100 hours of overtime to pay for it and go. So like most of my nights have just been going home and cooking dinner and stuff like that to facilitate her doing 12-hour shift after 12-hour shift after 12-hour shift. So she's amazing for doing that and to make sure we can go. So I've been domestic man and then playing. Once everything is done and dinner's ready, then I'll play a little Fallout, which playing as Roland Deschain, did not think, because I was telling you guys on the Discord, I did not think whenever I'm playing Lone Wanderer, Gunslinger. He has the dog, which I think, okay, he has Oi, so I can have the dog, but I can't don't want any other companions. Running through Sanctuary and Codsworth is like, Mr. Deschain. It's like, the fuck? Okay. But that's been fun. Little Hades 2, just grinding here and there. I haven't really, it's just been busy between work and then just taking care of the house so she can work. So that's been busy. I think that's mostly it. Can't think of any other books or anything. So yeah, that's all I got. What you guys, do we want to do a draft? We want to roll into movie talk, game talk?
We could probably do a draft, I think, if you want.
Let's see what they have.
What's the story on the drafts? Let's look at draft ideas. We had talked about doing video game controllers last time. We did rock. Best rocks.
That was good. I like that one.
Liquor.
In the front.
And the back.
Yeah.
If that's what you're into. Game developers, school subjects. TV.
School subjects?
School subjects.
That's an interesting one. There are 15 of those, right?
Sure.
If we include like college courses and shit.
We could do school subjects. I hated school. So I'm going to be hard pressed to find 5 of my favorites. I guess the 5 that I like not the least.
Yeah.
Or how about classes?
You do a reverse
Individual classes.
Ooh, a
or reverse draft is good.
classes. I thought.
School subjects are sort of like whatever.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Like school subjects are like broad.
Yeah.
Like math.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was thinking
but we could say
algebra.
geometry, trigonometry, algebra 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably roll with that if you want to try it.
Do a class draft.
Classes.
You want to do reverse or regular?
We can try regular.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. You're right. It really doesn't.
All right.
I forget that sometimes.
Dave, 1 through 6. Pick your numbers.
2 and 4.
2 and 4. Ian.
5 and 1.
5 and 1, so I'll have 3 and 6. 6. For me, Dave, Ian. 1. My favorite class I ever had in all of school and college was philosophy of science fiction.
Ooh, that does sound like a good class.
My final paper in that class was over what I felt was the most fun and or realistic take on time travel in fiction.
Did you do Chrono Trigger?
I did Back to the Future.
Okay.
Ooh, nice. Hey, there were 2 people from Back to the Future and Dennis the Menace.
Were you afraid they wouldn't buy the Frog Man?
That's too much, Tyler. It's philosophy of science fiction, not magic. So, Dave, number 1.
This will be, I guess, personal. This would be personal. It's a personal draft. I don't know that anybody else would have this experience, the same experience as I did, but middle school shop.
I like my middle school shop.
Middle school shop was a lot of fun. I made a frame for a square mirror that I sandblasted the Green Day logo on, and then painted the frame green because get it?
Yeah, I do.
So that lasted for a while, and then I had that for a long time, and that was fun. And then when we weren't doing stuff like that, I got to play this commercial logistics game where you send trucks out with shipments. That was fun. Get to sit at a computer.
Oh yeah,
That was
okay.
nice. Got a little CAD in there. That was cool. Yeah, middle school shop.
We played shuffleboard in my shop class.
Nice.
A lot. So
Nice.
that was fun playing shuffleboard.
Yeah, shuffleboard rules. Yeah, dude.
My turn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never got to take shop in middle school. I did home ec.
Yep.
And
That's also a
I
good
liked
one.
it, but my favorite pick is functional design at university.
Yeah.
Which is basically shop.
Did you have Sasso for that?
I did have Sasso
Yeah,
for that.
he's great.
And Paul Sasso, if you don't know his work, look him up. This guy is a genius with wood.
He's a funny guy, too.
He's funny. He's really easy to work with.
Brother of Will.
Not a brother of Will that I know of. But his work is unbelievable. It doesn't even look like it could be made. Things that he makes could be made of wood.
Yeah.
And he taught me in one semester so many things that stuck. It really resonated with me. It really stuck. And a lot of the projects that I do now, I still use the skills he taught me. Even though I was making like furniture and boxes and things like that, those same principles apply to like building the railing and the screened-in porch in my house, and it gave me a nice skill. It's probably one of my most useful classes that I've ever taken. In his class, I built a box that had like made out of walnut with like inlay in the shape of a gold chain around it, and it's got a secret way to open it. And I also built a chess table, which my family has fought over these pieces since I got out of school. They've been highly sought after. They're both at my house now. They're both in my wife's possession. But I really, really, really enjoyed that class, and I was really grateful to have had such a gifted artisan teaching me that trade. So yeah, my functional design will be my first pick.
It's a good pick.
My number 2, which is one of my favorite classes I had ever, but I felt like it did me a lot of good and set me down a path that you know it's half of my bachelor's, and I thought was going to be my path, but you know I've taken a different one, which would be advanced PE conditioning, and that was weightlifting and running. So for an hour and a half every day, I was lifting weights and running. I had to for a grade, so like that was where in high school where I lost 100 pounds. I had a 2-pack.
Shakur?
2-pack Shakur, yeah. It was fun. You know, I had that. Josh and I both had that class.
So how do you? I mean, did they like grade you on like? Okay, you started off and you could lift this much, and at the end of the semester you could lift this much.
Yep.
Oh, I was kidding. That's
yep.
really how
Yep.
they did it.
Yep. You had to have. You had to reach a certain percentage based on where you were at, your height, and your weight for squat, bench press, a certain number of pull-ups or dips, either how fast you ran the mile or how many miles you could run in a certain period of time.
It sounds like Army PT, honestly. in a lot
But
of ways.
it was fun though, just because we got to blare whatever music we wanted.
Sure.
You just kind of came as long as you included running, you pretty much got an A. The teacher was very big on running and the athletic conditioning.
Cardio.
Lots of people just go in and all they want to do is lift heavy all day. They get a C or a low B. But as long as you did both, easy, get your A. You always get to exercise. Like
That's great.
just kind of loved it. Loved
Yeah.
it. Got good working knowledge because a lot of those guys were. One of them I had that class with is now a championship like strongman competitor.
Huh.
So like just learning how to do all that kind of
Yeah.
shit that I still build into workouts now and everything like that. So it's set a good foundation for everything. I loved it. Josh and I both loved it.
Cool.
So
That's awesome.
And then sometimes we got to go play dodgeball with the regular PE kids. So
The normies.
normies.
The regulars.
The regulars.
I'm gonna go with typing, and like once again another middle school class.
Yes.
Typing ruled.
That would have made my list too had you not picked it.
Oh my
'Cause,
God.
I mean, typing / word processing. When did your first typing year, was it
Electric typewriter.
electric typewriter?
Is what
Okay.
we did.
So did you have Miss Jones?
Well, I went to middle school in Iowa.
Oh, I didn't take typing until freshman year.
Oh, see, we didn't even have it in high school. It was not a thing.
Typing and word processing wasn't a thing.
No, sir.
We went to the same school. Had they just
did.
done away with it?
I assume they did.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah, because we didn't do any of that. We didn't
Mavis
even
Beacon
have.
took it all away.
Mavis Beacon.
Yeah.
Ah, Mavis.
But man,
I'm actually in love with Mavis Beacon.
typing in
There
middle
is no
school,
Mavis Beacon.
it fucking ruled. I was already good at it because a friend of mine, Matt, had the internet, and we talked to girls on there.
Yes.
So the faster you can type, the faster you can talk to a girl, in theory, on the internet.
It's
on
a good
BBS,
motivation.
local BBS.
Yeah.
So it was awesome because the teacher was a good fit for me because it was the kind of teacher where it was like, if you do your assignment and you do a good job, then you can do whatever you want. I don't care.
Right.
And that's always a huge
Hell
incentive
yeah.
for me because it's like I will do my best job and I'll do it as fast as possible so I can play Battle Chess, so I can play Where in the World is
Yes.
Carmen Sandiego, I can play the paper airplane game you got on that Mac. I like that. So yeah, it was all Prince of Persia. Hell yeah, man. Oh,
Hell yeah.
typing.
Hell yeah.
Oh, typing.
My typing teacher, the typewriter one, her name was Mrs. Jones, and she looked like
Counting
a
Crows.
stereotypical 50s secretary.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, like
Does she
the
have the
hair
horn-rimmed glasses?
and the horn rim glasses,
Looked like a Far Side character.
and like the pencil skirt, and like very prim and proper all the time, and
Yeah.
would never really raise her voice. It was more. I mean, she could have taught a girls etiquette class. You know what I mean? Like
Princess Donut
that
over
woman.
here.
She was Princess Donut, but she wasn't like she was a harsh but patient teacher, and she was never mean, but she was stern, and
And had high expectations.
she had high expectations, but was patient to get you to the point of meeting those expectations. But like when we would take our test, you know, these typewriters that they equipped her classroom with had corrective ribbons in them.
Yeah.
We were not allowed to use the corrective ribbons, but people would use them. And when you'd use the corrective ribbons, it would make a
makes a
very
sound.
distinct sound.
Yeah, it does.
That whoop, 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 whoop. And we'd be taking our typing test, and like from the back corner of the room, you'd hear whoop, whoop, whoop. And she would stand up and be like, "No corrective ribbons. I'll know." And it was good.
a frog, Mrs. Jones.
But at the end of the day, I learned how to fucking type.
Yeah.
And then the second year was word processing, which was the good class. Because by that point, I knew how to fucking type because I was practicing at home. I had the Mavis Beacon. I had all the stuff. But I got to play Battle Chess. And I got to, because Mrs. Johnson, our typing teacher, God rest her soul, she's passed away. She was the sweetest, nicest woman. And she was like that. Get your assignment done. You can do whatever the hell you want. And I played a lot of Battle Chess that year on those computers.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Good pick, Dave.
Thank you.
Love that.
What you got? What's your next, Ian?
My next one is also a college course. I took metalsmithing. Paul Sasso's wife actually taught that class.
Yeah, it was not her when I was there.
But was it not?
No. So I don't know anything about his wife. Was she as good as him?
She's
I
as
assume?
good at metal as he was at wood. They were a match made in heaven.
Nice.
And I had already done a lot of metalsmithing in art class at Tillman at my school. I don't care. Fuck it. I went to Paducah Tillman, and I really liked that. And I don't know. I don't think it had anything to do with my dad being in the industry. My dad was more into sales. I liked making
than
it.
actual.
And I made several pieces in high school that Tanya still had. I made them, a lot of them, and gave them to her, mostly out of silver. I made her a brooch that's like a snake turned on its own tail with emeralds for eyes, like actual
An
emeralds.
Ouroboros.
I made her engagement
Ouroboros.
ring.
Like, you only see those every now and then here.
When we got together, I didn't give her an engagement ring when we decided to get married, but I made one for her several years later. She still wears that to this day. But that was I love metal. I love making jewelry and playing with metal and polishing it and stuff. It's the most zen. Basically, it's the lost wax process. You carve the item out of wax, then you cast it in plaster, a sort of thing like plaster, and then you melt out the plastic, and then you put the thing with the mold in a centrifuge and melt the metal, and then you pull the pin on the centrifuge, and gravity forces the metal into the mold, and then you break the mold, polish, cut, shine, and you have a piece of jewelry. It's a great, fun, awesome process that I really got to play with and spend a lot of time doing in school. And it was, if I had the money to buy the equipment, I would do it so I can make jewelry at home. I still may do that. But
Yeah, dude.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll try to remember to bring y'all a couple of pieces to look at. Metal smithing.
My number 3 definitely set me on a trajectory for all my friends throughout high school and college. Gave me a place to relax, be myself, have fun. Definitely made me into the person I am today. So drama in high school.
Nice,
Because I
yes.
was 100% a drama kid. I had drama. Was my first class every of, 8 semesters. It was my first period class for 7 of them.
Okay.
So I bypassed a lot of the stuff at school, like stuff that happened like in the common areas and all that shit in other clubs, and I just went to the drama room, and that's just where I stayed. It was always a comfortable place where I was happy and my friends, and we got to act and play games and all sorts of shit. Like and then all of my kids also have a place in drama. They all love it. They've all taken it. That's been their focus. Anna and Addie did plays in the exact drama room that I was at.
Nice.
I was in. So Marshall County is a 4A high school, huge. It's been there for like 30 years now. My dad was the first graduating class out of the high school. I was in the final addition to the school over a 30-year plan was the theater. So I was in the first play when the theater was finally built, and then in the same room on the same stage, the girls have been doing shows all through high school. So
nice.
It's been
Nice.
great.
I like that.
So yeah,
That's why your dramatic readings are so good.
high school.
High school. Both my parents were drama majors.
Oh, yeah?
I
I was a major for a minute, then I realized like, oh, I don't want to do this.
they did
as
like
a career.
they did like the Kentucky the theater at the lake, the Kentucky theater at the lake.
Oh yeah.
They worked there for a couple of summers, like acting and play. I've got a picture of my mom dressed up as Cleopatra.
Badgett Playhouse.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of my mom dressed up as Cleopatra in one of the productions that my dad had made and had framed. But yeah, that was a big deal. Then my mom moved to education, but yeah, that was a big deal in our family too. I never got into that. I think I would have enjoyed it though.
Yeah,
It
and
sounds-
Melissa wishes she had.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way
She
too.
with the peer pressure that she didn't want to be a nerd, but wishes she had.
But I can see your love for it. And
Oh, God,
no
so
joke in the
much.
things that you do, like your actual plays and your dramatic readings, even all that stuff really shines. That's really awesome.
Because I loved it in college too. I only did one main stage show in college, but I did a lot of black box theater in college.
Yeah.
Loved black box shows.
Okay, awesome.
Dave, number 3.
High school bands.
There we go.
High school band fucking ruled. It fucking ruled. It was hard work because you would have to go there in the summer and practice. and practiced playing, memorizing songs, and marching formations.
Tillman
because
had an awesome band.
Tillman band ruled.
It
And
did. It was amazing.
loved it. And it was so important to me my freshman year, especially because it was like the band was so big at that time.
It was huge when I was
third
there.
of the school, essentially. It was
Yeah.
a huge band. And I remember being a freshman and being in the band room and given a hard time by the seniors there in the band room, but outside of the band room,
You were.
was one of them.
Yep.
And they would stick up for you,
Hell
and
yeah.
they would stick up for all the freshmen. And
I hung out with I wasn't in band, but I hung out with the band. Like my girlfriend was in band. Most of my best friends were in band. So I was always there. I got to sit with them during football games if I
Nice.
wanted,
That's
just to
fun.
hang out. And I could like,
basketball games, are
I would be
especially
beating
fun.
on the stuff with them and,
Yeah.
hype, being a hype man or something.
Yeah.
I remember our buddy Dane, not our,
Not backlog
not
banisher.
backlog banisher
Sex
Dane.
whale.
Sex whale Dane. He was in band one year and but he was only in there he was already had enough to graduate. He just needed one credit. So he sat in with the band for one semester playing electric guitar.
Yeah, I know someone else who did that for a year, for a semester. Yeah.
One of the best shows ever. They got out there and did the Final Countdown by Europe.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just
Job's theme.
it wasn't just that. Dane was fucking rocking it over there with an electric guitar and playing a solo and shit. They had the fucking crowd going wild. It was
Yeah.
amazing. So yeah, I could totally
Loved it.
relate.
I loved it.
I love that you were in band.
We went to Hawaii one year,
Nice.
which was why there was a third of the school in band.
yeah.
Same for Marshall County. Yep.
Which, hey, man, I mean, it worked. I got a bunch of kids in band, and then not all of them stayed for the next year, but I mean, a lot of them did. We had a pretty big band until a new teacher came in who I really liked, but he was a lot more serious about, us improving,
Sure,
and,
sure.
and performing, and so yeah, man, it was cool. Big fan,
Yeah.
big fan of band.
'Cause
Nice.
my high school girlfriend was in color guard, and she was all
Yeah.
excited. They got to go to Hawaii too, and then she got mono and couldn't go.
Oh, that sucks for her.
Nah, she's a shitty person. So it's totally fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
color guard. Sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to interrupt,
yeah.
but color guard's one of those things where it
The
was like,
horrorcore, as they were also called.
Yep, they called him that in my school too.
I wasn't going to say that,
good
but I mean,
reason.
I did hear that. But color guard was one of those things where it was always like, man, we're playing instruments out here.
Y'all are swinging them flags and stepping in time.
Your weird rifles that you're throwing in the air, your wooden rifles. Ian, number 3.
My number 3 is also a college course. I had a physical requirement to get my diploma. I was never much of an athletic person. I do like sports. I like playing, but I never like having to do it. But I did manage to find a physical requirement class that I really liked. Bowling. I got to go bowling for free 3 times a week for a grade.
At the lanes across from the college.
At the lanes across
Yeah.
from the college. And the grade was, do you know how to keep score? Yes. A+.
I would fail.
Well, they teach you.
Okay, well, phew.
They teach you how to keep score at the beginning, and then all you have to do is prove that you know how to keep score in bowling, and you pass the class. They didn't care if you did well. I mean, he taught the guy that taught the class, super cool dude, older guy, of course.
This all tracks.
He taught form. He taught how to do it, but he
Sure.
was not a taskmaster. He's like, it's bowling.
That would be
let's
weird
have,
if he was.
Let's have a little fun.
It would
Yeah, he
be
wasn't
really
like
weird.
cracking the whip.
Yeah.
Get that foot straight. Line up on those dots better.
But you got a black 13 in there?
But
Down at Mid Murray Lane.
we did have a good time, and it was nice to 10 o'clock every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I had to show up, bowl for like 2 hours and leave. And it was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds pretty nice.
It was awesome. Got an A in that class.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. This didn't come up when we did our bowling game, did it?
No, I
I
had
feel like
forgotten
this is
about it.
new information
I had
to
forgotten
me.
about it until we started talking about classes. I was like, holy shit, I took a bowling class in Murray.
That's awesome. I love it.
I also need to put a side note about my advanced speed conditioning. That is also where I met and became friends with Taryn.
Oh, nice.
okay.
Taryn was a varsity cheerleader back then, so she had to take PE conditioning, lifting weights, running, all that stuff
Cool.
for varsity
Okay.
cheerleading. So
That
that's
is
where we got
really
to be friends.
cool.
Nice.
But my number 4, which it was close with drama, so I had to kind of choose. My 4th would be from culinary school, my international cuisine class. That was fucking great. I still keep, and it is in my shelf at work, and I still refer to it when we need it. Casey used it a lot, which was my notebook. So we had to keep a very extensive notebook. Every week was a different ethnicity of world cuisine. So it was 10 weeks, every week a different nationality. Very extensive notes, PowerPoints, recipes, and I cooked food from all around the world. It was fucking great. Loved the shit out of that class.
Nice.
So yeah, that I still refer to it. When I teach, I bring it so I could refer to it and use recipes and techniques out of it. Like, I'm so glad I put so much into that book, more so than I did. We had to do them in a few other classes, but that was the one that, this was in 2007, and I still have that book in pristine condition, still use it to this day.
Nice.
But yeah, international cuisine, definitely, and that led me to me doing my internship at a Malaysian fusion restaurant after cooking Korean, Japanese, and Chinese food all in international cuisine. So, yeah, fucking phenomenal class.
Dig.
Dave, number 4.
Silk screening at university.
At
Those are
uni?
fun.
At uni.
That was a good class. I took that class too.
Man, I took a lot of printmaking classes to finally get to silk screening because it was like gated behind 4 other printmaking classes. So I had to.
Shit.
Yeah. But I really wanted
Good
to do
old
it.
Harvey taught all of mine.
Really? Yeah.
He hated me.
We had a different person when I was going through.
Harvey hated me.
I liked our teacher a lot.
Good.
I was pretty straightforward with her and let her know that I was really just interested in silk screening, but understood that I needed to learn these other processes first,
Sure.
and that I was going to try my best. But we'll see what happens.
Right. Right.
It's not my bag, baby.
But yeah, it was fun. Doing like the lithography and like the woodcuts and like all that was neat, and especially learning lithography, the process of that was really, really neat.
Yeah,
I
that
liked
was a
that
cool class.
way more than I thought I would. Way more. Etching was pretty cool.
I was a big
With the
fan
acid
of
baths
etching, the
and all that.
acid baths
Yeah.
and stuff, and the lino cuts.
You
and
can do
stuff.
some really, really cool stuff with that. But yeah, man, once I got the silk screening, it was awesome because it was one of those classes where it's like, it's kind of the same for the other printmaking courses, but more so for silk screening, where it's like, I'm going to teach you the process and then
do it.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to make, you got to turn something in on this date and then on this date and on this
Yep.
date. So just
That's how a lot of those were structured.
yeah, just do what you want to do, and we'll see what you got when the time comes.
A lot of that kind of stuff we touched on in high school. I did the lino cuts and the etching and we got into tie-dye and batik and all that kind of stuff, and that functional stuff was always fun.
Yeah.
It's always really good shit.
I liked silk screening a lot because of, I would just come in and work in the lab
Yep.
super late, and then kind of like you're talking about with conditioning, Tyler, it's like play music. I would meet with people there. Like there was a group of people who would also work during the night. That's when I would normally go, is late at night.
Yeah.
And we'd hang out and like listen to comedy CDs and stuff while we were working. Yeah, it was neat. It really was a great experience.
That's awesome.
That's one of those things where you're talking about, you know, having the equipment to make jewelry. I've always been like looking at silk
Wanted to
screening.
have silk screening
It's
at
not
home.
that expensive, but
No.
it's more of a how do I deal with the waste?
There's a lot of waste, and there's a lot of big equipment to find place to put it, and just things of that nature, especially if you want to go old school and do it the old way.
Yeah.
But they
Can get expensive
It
if
can
you do
get
like
expensive.
like the vacuum sealed
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Have you seen the one that he does downtown at the Arts Festival?
No, is it a pop-up?
It's a big machine that like has
seen that,
different
no.
screens, and it's all automated. So he'll put the thing in the computer, and then it just kind of lays it, does it, then goes to the next color and does it. And he has to, mind it and watch
Squeegee
it
it.
and squeegee and all that. It's
Cool.
pretty cool.
I haven't seen that. I've seen videos of that, but I didn't even know there was somebody who did that here.
Yeah, he
in
does
town.
it down in the Arts Festival. I don't know when he does it. Like, I don't know where he works normally, but he makes a lot of Paducah centric shirts that are, some of them are really cool.
Yeah.
Really funny
Cool.
too.
Yeah, number 4.
German in high school. I took
Beck.
3 years of German.
Who was your teacher?
Mrs. McManus,
That changed too.
the Frau.
Okay.
She was very stern, but when she liked you, you were in. You were good. She took care of you, but she didn't like take it easy. She was harder on the people she liked because she knew you like what you're doing, you like the class, you have the aptitude, and she could be a real asshole, but she was also an amazing teacher. And yeah, I took 3 years of German with her, and so did Tanya. Took German as well, and then a friend of mine, Bob, Loud and Dirty Bob, was in that class as
Chung?
well. Dada
Dada
Chim.
Chim.
And I remember getting word that Mrs. McManus had passed away. And when I worked at the casino a long time ago, I would run into her all the time. She loved to go to the casino, and would run into her all the time, and we would sit and chat and get caught up and everything. And then I got word that she had passed away, but they were going to have the service somewhere else because her family lived elsewhere, and her ties to the city weren't significant. I mean, she was a teacher at Tillman for like 40 years, but her family and her people were her focus, and so she didn't have a lot going on here in town. But I remember sending Bob a message saying the Frau has died, and he sent back something like acknowledged. Like we just all had this weird bond with her that was like she was prepared for it. I mean, she lived her best life, and I really miss her, but she was an excellent teacher, and I learned a lot of German. I've forgotten most of it, but I can still muddle my way through it if I have to.
Yeah.
So, German.
My number 5 class, which there's only one. I don't know. I'm having it at 5 because I don't remember anything about the class. Remember nothing about the content. Nothing about the class was memorable. I remember the teacher, but it was my 6th. But of all the classes that I've ever had, this one determined everything in my life. My Writing 1 class, my second semester of 6th grade, taught by Miss Wiles, was where I met a girl sitting to the row beside me, 2 seats back, who passed me a note and changed my life. It's where I met my wife.
Did your mom find that
Writing
note?
1. No. She found a different note of. Because I know we told this story about my mom finding that note
was a long time
about
ago,
Good Time
though.
Gatsby
Yeah.
getting fingered.
Yes.
My mom finding it and collapsing into tears.
How many stars?
It may have been a note I was writing to Melissa. It didn't make it to her, and my mom found it in my pocket. But that I think I can't say it's my favorite class. I remember nothing about it. That's why I'm going to put it at 5. But it was the class that changed my entire life because it's where I met Melissa, and everything was different from then on.
Writing 1.
How I Met Your Mother.
1.
I'm going to go with French, high school French. And it's not because of the language. I didn't even really necessarily want to learn French. I think I was more interested in learning German, to be perfectly honest, because I thought it was really neat that my high school had a German class.
It was cool that you could learn German. We had Japanese for a little while.
Wow, not when I was there. I would have been all over that.
It came and went quick.
Yeah. But it wasn't because of the subject matter. It was because of the teacher. And because of this teacher, Mr. Smith.
God rest his soul.
Oh my God, dude. I think about this man. This is not an exaggeration.
I never had him in class, and I still love this guy.
I think about this man every other month. This is not an exaggeration.
No, I believe me, I understand. Mr. Smith was a fantastic human being.
Phenomenal. He really was.
I'm getting choked up.
He was extremely entertaining.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
And I took French 1, and then I was like, I have to be in a class of this man's every year.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah.
So I took French 2, took French 3, and then I took AP English as a senior. It's like, I'm done with French.
Yeah.
I can take AP English with him finally, which is what I'd always heard was one of the best classes that he would do, because he fucking loved literature.
He did.
He was passionate about it in a way that transformed, this sounds so fucking sappy, but it transformed the material.
Oh no.
In a way that he would not really even explain it in a way that made it exciting. He would just make it exciting. Like Paradise Lost.
Mm-hmm.
He loved Paradise Lost. I'd never in my entire life would have been like, oh, Milton's Paradise Lost. That sounds like something to be super interesting. But then he fucking acts it out in class. And it's in a way that I don't know, man, his passion behind it and his love behind the work was just it was transfixing.
I had none of his classes because I was in Mrs. McManus's advanced English classes.
Oh, I didn't know.
She taught English and German.
That makes total sense.
No, absolutely. They did that a lot.
Sure.
With the foreign language teachers would teach English because you have to have a very good understanding of English to be able to teach a foreign language to people that speak English natively.
Sure, yeah.
But I had interacted with Mr. Smith several times and seen him just do his thing, and every student he ever had loved him.
Man, that dude ruled. He ruled. I loved that man.
Mm-hmm. He was a great dude. He was a great educator.
Yep.
I'm so glad you brought him up. That makes me happy.
Favorite teacher of all time.
Yeah.
Hands down.
For sure.
Without a doubt. He ruled. We went to Paris one year. So I got to go to Paris with him and his mom, which that was a blast.
Nice.
Just meeting his mom.
Yeah.
She was super nice. And yeah, it was cool. He was a great dude. And he passed away, I guess.
It's been a little while.
It's been, a bit.
It's probably been about 10 years, 10, 15 years maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which does suck.
That one sent ripples. That one, everyone was messaging everyone else. Dude, Steve Smith died. Yeah, it was rough. It was a loss. He was such a great man. I'm glad you brought him up. That's awesome.
What's your number 5, Ian?
My number 5 is going to be another art class.
Dave's French 1 class.
Dave's French 1 class. My number 5.
It was pretty good. It was good.
is an art class I took art all 4 years I was in high school, and then I majored in it in college. My teacher, Miss Baggett, was our art teacher at high school, and she was a Murray State graduate, and she taught her classes at Tillman basically the exact same way that the curriculum was set up at Murray State. So we got exposed to all kinds of shit, all manner of, I was mentioning to Dave, I've done drawing, sculpture, metalsmithing, batik, weaving, painting, any photography, which is my number 5, photography, all of those, and then that was all, we were exposed to all of that throughout high school. And then when I got to Murray, it was like I was just taking art classes that I had already had.
Yeah.
So I kind of breezed it, It was easy because I understood. She taught the way that the teachers at Murray teach, and I was able to just go in and I felt right at home. But she made photography. This was not just photography, but film development. So this was before digital cameras and all that were so common. We were developing rolls of film and printing them on paper and going through the chemical baths and doing all that. And we had a dark room that had like a big black revolving door that you could go through, and you go in the dark room and develop photos. I could spend, much like you with your silk screening, I would stay after school for hours and hours in the dark room developing film and looking at proofs and making pictures and stuff. And that was the one thing about school that I truly, in high school, that I truly was passionately into, was photography. And I wanted there to be an entire class just on photography, but unfortunately there wasn't the resources to do that. So it was like I would only get one semester of it every year. But when I got to do it, I loved what I did, and I loved that thing a lot. That was and I could to this day, I did it so much and it became so ingrained in me. I could develop a roll of film and print it on paper right now without reading the book. I still have those books though, the red binders that I kept of all the notes and everything. And sometimes I'll go back through and look at those just to put me back in that place because I really loved it.
Odd color choice, red. If it was in the dark room, yeah.
Yeah. True. It looked white in the dark room.
I guess that's, but
it was easy to spot, or it was camouflaged, almost, I guess.
I took photography at Murray, and
was Michael Johnson your teacher?
He was.
Yeah, I had him at Murray too. Cinematography as well.
I didn't really get along with him.
Most people didn't. I actually did, but most people did not get along with him.
Yeah, I didn't really get along with him. I didn't really like his style of teaching, and I was really...
He was very hands-off.
Yeah, which normally I like.
But in a technical field like photography, especially with the...
Developing
it, you need to be hands-on.
Yeah.
You need to be teaching and not just observing.
But but there are elements of it that I really enjoyed, like the composition, all of that.
Yeah.
It was kind of a struggle in the dark room. Yeah.
I got an A in his class.
I believe that.
I enjoyed that so much.
I did not. But I passed it.
I think part of it had to do with the fact that I already knew how to do it by the time I got there. So I got to focus on the development process was just a step in the, I got to focus on my work and not so much having to struggle with getting it developed.
Sure.
So
yeah, I think
it was a help.
I think I probably would have enjoyed like a commercial photography class better, because I didn't expect. In fine art photography, I did not expect it to be as technical as it was, and it very much was. Technical analog.
Yeah, yeah. I took a cinematography class from him as well. My second semester after photography, I went to cinematography, and we got to shoot short movies.
Yeah,
I've got mine somewhere. I got to find it.
You do. I want to see it.
It's funny. I think I may have told y'all about that.
I think you have mentioned that
internet chat thing. But anyway, but Was that the last
That's
one?
it.
Okay. I just want to say I've really enjoyed doing this
This was a
draft.
good conversation.
And
yeah.
I want to say to anyone and everyone out there listening, if you are a teacher, I'm sorry that you don't get paid enough. But I want you
It's
to
okay.
know I am extremely grateful for what you
You're
do. For all the teachers that do what you do, making the impression of like the Steve Smiths and the Ruth Baggetts and the
Homie, I'll never
Mrs.
forget that man.
McManuses
I won't. But,
in the
I mean,
of the world. You guys are the fucking greats, and you shape our kids. And I love what you do. And my
It
mom
sucks
was
how
a teacher.
dismantled it's becoming.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I hate that you aren't appreciated more. My mom was a teacher for her entire life. As long as I knew her, she was a
Well,
teacher.
that's what Addie wants to do. Addie is going to Murray State to be an art teacher.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And that's a fantastic program.
Her art teacher in high school loved her so much and helped shape her in what she wants to do. That he was known for always wearing his painting coat constantly. He wore his painting coat 24/7 while he was there teaching, eating in the cafeteria. That was his thing, was his big, oversized, dirty, speckled paint coat.
His smock. Yeah.
When she walked across the stage, he gave it to her.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that is super nice.
Well,
Oh, she cried.
Oh, yeah.
I bet
He
I'm
was
about
like-
to cry.
I retire in 9 years. You come back here and you can have this job.
Hell yeah.
That's our goal.
Nice. That's
Fuck, I
awesome.
love that. Well, thank you to all of our teachers and for the hard work you do in taking care of our kids. I know it's a thankless job. So much of it is thankless, both in the pay and the recognition and in the kind of having to be in charge of other people's kids all the time and still caring enough to put yourself in that position. So thank you to our teachers. And that's all I'm going to say.
Well, looking at this list, we're all very artsy boys.
We are.
If we all had SNL style boy wells in our backyard, makes total sense. I'm gonna do a rundown of honorable mentions and why real quick.
Please.
Okay, so one, it was made out to me like it was a big deal. Turns out it was not a big deal to have high school diplomas were Commonwealth, honors, and general high school diplomas. And we were talking like, oh man, you got to get the Commonwealth. You have to, it's a high school diploma. It doesn't fucking matter. We were acting like it was a big deal. So I took mostly honors, AP and honors classes, but I couldn't hack the math classes. So basically, because I had like regular math classes, I was get the general diploma no matter what. So I tried, I took honors and AP, and then when I got my senior year and took AP chemistry, 2 days into it, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Switched to general chemistry. Holy shit, the reversal in life that was, because that teacher did not give a shit. Did not give a shit. I was able to do all my tests orally. So I just got up and just kind of bullshit a story. A. Shake and I sat in the back of that class with our TI-84 calculators playing Tetris so you can get the highest score. She had a computer in the back. She didn't say anything. If middle of class, we'd go back there, fire that up, play Carmen Sandiego and Scrabble. Didn't give a shit. That class was amazing just for that. We got A's. She'd even say, like, people want the world to be on a bell curve. I think that's awful. So take my
Nice.
class. You'll get a good grade. She didn't last very long.
No, I figured she probably didn't.
Another one, creative dramatics in college. You just play theater games for an hour,
Okay.
Monday through Friday. It was fucking great. Honors English 4. I loved my teacher back then. That was where I got into, because for a minute my major was creative writing. And me liking to write and craft stories started in Honors English 4 with Miss Shadowan. She was amazing. AP US History, great class, great teacher. Very, very difficult. I got a C in that class as much as I love history.
It's an AP
but,
course, I mean.
Yeah.
But it taught me how to write. I've never had a problem writing papers in college or my master's or anything because of that class. Fencing. I took fencing at Murray State.
Yeah, I remember that.
Cool.
I think I told that story a long time ago. I went back and told my dad, yeah, I'm taking fencing. And he was like so happy and so impressed. He was like, you probably won't use it a lot, but it'd be nice for you to learn how to make a fence. I was like, no, Dad, it's sword fighting. Immediate sour face. Art 1, that class is just memorable because that's where I gave my teacher, it was an hour and a half. For an hour, I gave her a massage. Extremely inappropriate.
Yeah.
Unbridledly inappropriate.
Yes.
Unbridled
Like I would rub
spirits.
on like her chest and shit, like up high, see how low I could get. Like, why in the world? And like, if I wasn't doing that, I was playing Kirby's Pinball on my Game Boy Color. She didn't give a shit. She would give me an A because I gave her a good massage. I didn't have to do fucking anything in that class. It came out that she did fuck a few students, like wholly inappropriate. And then my last one was
Should have been more aggressive. It sounds like.
I fucking could have.
It sounds
and
like
I
you
know
had a
it.
shot and you
Yeah,
blew it.
I think I know
fuck.
it too. It
Yeah.
sounds like you had
Yep.
a really good,
Yeah.
really
And
good
then
chance
the
there.
last one, basic culinary skills. I had a phenomenal teacher. I still keep in contact with 2 of my culinary professors from Sullivan that helped me teach my classes. And that was my first one that got me. I was like, okay, I want to do this, something like this for the rest of my life. Because that teacher was so good. So
Couple of little honorable mentions for me was just high school stuff. We had great teachers at Tillman. I loved algebra. I was actually
boy.
I was super good at algebra. I had a really good teacher, Miss Beckman. My American history class was awesome. I can't remember the name of the guy that taught that class, but he was great. But what I was going to say was we also had diploma levels. You could get there was like the comprehensive, the general, the comprehensive, and the academic, I think, were the 3 tiers. The academic being if you took these certain classes and got a certain GPA, you could graduate with an academic diploma. But and I got that one. But one of the other things that they did when I want to say it was in my junior year, they implemented a lettering system for academics. So like football players and basketball players would get letters for their
jackets,
letter jackets, and the letters to sew on them.
Yeah.
They did that for academics as well.
Wow, that's
and I
cool.
lettered in academics. I have my letter,
yeah.
and it has it's a big, blue and white T. And I had the jacket. I wore a letter jacket for the 2 years of high school. Athletes hated it. The athletes hated the academic lettering. They would always give a shit about it. It's like, look, I can't be like you. I just wanted a letter in something, but I have my letter and it's got one of those little lamps on it. Those little genie lamps, whatever. I still have it in my little box next to my bed. I've been trying to find something to sew it on. Just like a backpack or something, But I just thought that was neat that I got to letter in academics at school. I don't know if
That
they
is cool.
continued
I
that
like that.
program after I left, but it was fun.
Oh, a little anecdote. I forgot about that same art teacher. Her last name changed 3 of the 4 years of high school because she had a different husband every year.
I was about to say she was married to a different student each year. Don't rub so low, Tyler. Billy's gonna get mad.
She never called me out on it. She never moved. I chickened out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were.
She's like, "Oh, you want to
were
play
a
chicken?
child.
You want to play chicken?" Yeah.
So it does make
Your
sense.
reaction was normal.
Yeah,
Hers, not so much.
yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
A couple honorable mentions for me. Computer science in high school was awesome. Great teacher, kind man who computer science was great because he was like, how about an hour a day you teach me about computers?
I just want to see what you know.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, okay. And then you could play Ultima Online.
How do you, Dave? How do you grief these noobs?
Right.
Teach me.
And physics was the same way because the physics teacher was friends with the computer science teacher. And the physics teacher was like, this guy can teach me how to use a computer. And the computer science teacher was like, he sure can. And he's like, why don't you take physics? You'll have fun. And it's like, okay. Taught him how to use, anytime he had a computer question, I'd ask or I'd answer that. Meanwhile, I was on the computer playing Ultima Online. And then it would, there were a few times where, and this is all because of Apex, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was working at Apex at the time. So, I mean, it was like,
You were fucking literally in tech support.
there was a reputation that like preceded. It was either me or Nick. That's like several times.
And has followed you throughout the course of your life.
How's that?
Because I know you've basically been de facto IT in almost every job you've had since somehow.
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of, sort of. Like now it's to the point where it's like everyone just knows what I know. Like when I was in high school, people didn't know how to use Windows 95.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like, this isn't like the other Windows I had. Like, I mean, there were people that was literally like, I don't know how to use this.
This is the future.
Yeah, I don't run into that anymore. I feel like everybody knows how to use a phone and like knows how to use a desktop computer. But there was a minute in high school where like Nick and I were being called out of class to like go help
With the computer.
With the computer.
John had that experience a lot too. He said he and Justin.
Yeah, I believe that.
Got called a lot.
100%. Yeah.
Justin did more things to the system, like altering grades, and fucking
Bueller over here.
getting into some dirty business. I won't talk.
They made
about
their
here.
beige boxes that they take around.
Yeah, we fucked with beige boxes in high school a little bit. It
Yep.
wasn't as like fun or practical as we had kind of hoped.
As the Jolly Rogers cookbook would have you think it is.
But hey, we hung around outside a suburban neighborhood at night.
Yes. Oh goodness. Well, we are at about an hour and 20. So I'd say
I got
now-
in trouble in high school for looking that up on the school computers
The
and
Jolly
showing everybody
Roger.
Jolly Rogers cookbook.
It's a good
Seems
place.
a little extreme. The anarchist cookbook, on the other hand, I could see. Like
I got
getting
more in trouble for that than I did telling a girl to go to whitehouse.com to find her government facts.
Well, that
on the school computer.
That you can play off as I didn't know.
Yeah.
Why would they
Clearly.
call it that?
Why would they do that? It's .gov. Oh, I didn't know.
.gov, what's that?
All right, take a break, come back, talk Menace and Menace.
Let's do it.
Sure.
Be right back.
You go sit in the corner and think about what you've done
For how long?
until you're sorry.
Oh, good. I'm sorry now.
He can't sit in the corner. I have to take him to Margaret Wade's house.
Ah! Margaret's house? I don't do anything bad enough to deserve to go to her house. She's a lunatic. I'll go crazy. She tortures me. She's mean. She's ugly. She doesn't share.
Honey, I made an arrangement with Mrs. Wade for you to go to their house while I work.
Are you serious?
Well, you can't spend the summer unsupervised. You're out of school.
I'll go back!
Your mother made arrangements. That's it. I don't want any arguments.
My life is falling apart.
And now for the game and movie talk. Had you guys seen Dennis the Menace before?
I had not.
I have once back when it was relatively new.
Yeah.
Probably
I was
probably
9
on,
when it came out,
probably
so
on,
I was in prime
video.
age for it.
Yeah, I think we probably watched it on video. I didn't go to like the theater and see it, but
Because it's a John Hughes movie.
it is, which I had forgotten that was the case.
He was producer.
He directed it.
He directed it? Mm-hmm. Did you know did he write it as well?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Didn't have time today to do a lot of research like I normally do because I was not working from home today. So I didn't have any time to really gather a bunch of information. But I did watch the movie yesterday, basically for the first time. I mean, it had been so long since I'd seen it, I didn't remember hardly any of it.
Yeah.
Big cast in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Watched it with Cohen. We called him in. He was staying with us last night, my grandson, and he came in, and after it was done, he said, well, that's my movie of the year.
Wow.
He said, that is my new second favorite movie behind Home Alone.
Man, I knew Home Alone. I knew that was coming up.
A lot of similarities
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Home Alone,
sure.
obviously, too, but had a really good time watching it with him. We were just laughing our asses off at this movie. Spoiler alert, I love this movie. I had a really good time watching it. The kid that played Dennis the Menace was maybe 100 times cuter than Macaulay Culkin. I mean, I love the way this kid delivered his lines. I loved how little he was, and being so.
They almost like they leaned hard into like the Huckleberry Finn.
I know.
They
I liked him a
really
lot,
do.
but I kept thinking, can we put a shirt on the kid?
Just overalls with a slingshot. He's goddamn Huck Finn just walking around.
That
They
might
had-
have been the intent to make him like.
Well, and
that
that's how Dennis
boyish
the Menace
Huck Finn.
was. In the cartoon, in the old comics, he would run around with just overalls on.
I'm used to the
I'm
Dairy
used to the
Queen
striped
logo.
shirt.
Yeah.
From like the old,
Queen,
from like
I
the old
forgot about
TV
that.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
and
I
that
watched a lot of
they
that.
had him in that too, though. I mean,
Yeah.
really, that first scene they had him in no shirt. The rest
Dirty
of it was
cheeks. And
always
Yeah.
dirty, always a little dirty, and the fact that he was such a curious troublemaker, he couldn't resist pushing the button or playing with the false teeth or squeezing the nasal spray out everywhere. I mean, anyone that's ever had boys could really relate to some of the stuff.
Oh man.
There's this one scene in the movie where Dennis he has to stay with Mr. and Mrs. Wilson because overnight because his parents have to go on separate business trips.
all well cast. His parents, the Wilsons.
Leah Thompson, looking
Mm-hmm.
just that's prime Leah Thompson, like just barely better than Back to the Future Leah Thompson.
Agree.
I mean, she
Agree.
was gorgeous, just
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful women. But Walter Matthau
So good.
Yeah.
plays
Mr.
Mr.
Wilson.
Wilson just with him flawlessly. I mean, he was the perfect codgy old man next door, right? And Dennis was obsessed with this guy. Dennis is always up in Mr. Wilson's grill and messing with his stuff and driving Mr. Wilson crazy. Because the thing is, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson never had children of their own. And that was always the truth about those characters. They never had their own kids. So Mr. Wilson never really got the chance to try to relate to being around a troublesome little boy and never really knew how to deal with it. But in his own way, he kind of likes it, right? And he enjoyed it, even though Dennis is truly a menace to him. There's this one scene, and he's taking a bath, and Dennis Mitchell's thing was he would get out of the bath when he's wrinkled enough,
Right.
when his fingers are wrinkly enough. And there's this one point where he's staying with Mr. Wilson, and he's in the tub, splashing around, turning circles, singing "She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain When She Comes," right? And he's doing his thing, and Mrs. Wilson is out there getting his clothes ready for bed, and she says, "Are you wrinkled enough to get out of the tub?" And he's like, he looks at his fingers, and he says, "Yeah." And then she goes, "Do you need help? Do you need me to come in there and help you get out of the tub?" And he goes, "Not unless you want to see what the stork saw." I
Delivered well.
Yeah.
laughed
Yeah.
my
Nikki and I
ass
laughed.
off at
Yeah.
that. I thought just the lines they wrote for this kid
Sound like something that a kid would say.
were perfect.
and is
Yeah.
and is funny.
It is
Like,
funny.
and,
And the way he delivers it, the fact that he was so little, he was like 5 years old.
That bothered me a little bit because I had to. Well, I shouldn't say it bothered me. I had to get over that.
Why is that?
Because I watched a lot of the TV show, the black and white TV show.
Oh,
and that
yeah, I did
kid's,
too.
I don't know. He was probably
Yeah,
like
he was like
9.
9 or 10.
So it was I had to get over that and be like, okay, just got to accept this is like Ninja Turtle style. But
Yeah.
just, this is a
It's like
different-
Little Rascals version of Dennis the Menace.
Yeah,
Right.
He just seemed a little young.
The
Yeah,
Little Rascals, Home
Margaret
Alone.
and Joey were cast very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm also still used to the caliber of young actors from like Stranger Things. But still, yeah, really good. I loved it as a kid.
Natasha Lyonne.
A super young Natasha
As a
Lyonne.
Just the
babysitter. That was
cutest-
just like, what? When
Just the
she came on
cutest
screen.
little thing. I
And-
was
and
like,
what- was
oh
that
my
Buzz?
God. I didn't know
Buzz.
Buzz
her
from Home
reference
Alone.
Buzz from Home Alone. Yep.
The scene of him reading.
Sababed.
God damn it, that was hilarious.
He was reading a book to Dennis while Dennis was taking a bath.
Right.
And he kept mispronouncing words and couldn't read them. Sobbed. It was sobbed.
Sababed.
When he was reading to Dennis, when Dennis was in the bath, I had flashbacks to Lethal Weapon when they're bringing the cake in. It's like, what are you doing in here?
And notably, the book was about trains. I got a huge Charlie the Choo Choo vibe from the cover of that book.
Girl, same.
I was like, holy shit, he's reading Charlie the Choo Choo to Dennis. It was weird.
Yep.
It was weird how similar that was to what I had imagined for that.
Christopher Lloyd as a great
Christopher
PG
Lloyd.
villain.
What's his
Yes.
Switchblade Sam or something like
Switchblade
that?
Sam.
Just super greasy,
Whenever
creepy.
whenever he showed up on screen, I told Cohen, I asked, you know who that is? You know who that is? And I let it go for like a good half hour. And every time he would come on screen, I said, listen to him talk. And he just couldn't get it. And I was like, that's Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He's like, what? Oh, I see it now. Oh, he loved it. He thought that was great. The Natasha
He's from
Lyonne
Taxi.
surprised me.
Oh shit!
Natasha Lyonne surprised me. I didn't remember she was in this movie.
I didn't
and when
either.
it opened the door and
I was
she's
super
like,
surprised.
what,
Yeah.
13?
I don't know.
And I was just
Doesn't
like,
even have her smoker's voice yet.
oh, nice. I know. She's just so cute. It was really fun to see her. How
was a
far,
nice-
how
it was a
long
nice
she's been
surprise.
acting.
Yeah.
You know, and she did a really great job. I love when the guy the boyfriend Buzz comes to the door and the kid Dennis is like, she's upstairs putting on armpit perfume because she says you're a stud and all this, just like
Cool.
where did he come up with this stuff? Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun watching the movie. I loved it. I love that movie. I actually kind of liked it. Right up there with Home Alone for me. It was fun. It was a fun movie, and I thought it was super well cast. And
I feel bad for Mr. Wilson with the flower, though.
yeah.
That's hard.
Dennis ruined his 40-year-old moonflower.
It was, which they
experience.
set up super early in the movie, and I'm like,
Yeah, this
I
is
have
gonna
no
break.
idea where this is going.
This isn't
I
any
bet he's
sort
going to
of
see that. It's all going to work out.
no foreshadowing whatsoever.
I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was entertaining. I liked it way better than I thought I was going to like it.
Yeah.
Came in with pretty low expectations. Thought the writing was excellent. The dialogue, I should say, was excellent. The actual like plot and stuff is pretty obvious, but it's also like
It's a solid PG kid movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and it had nice touches of like, so even though a lot of it was predictable, I honestly thought that the weaving of like the different plots, like the A plot and the B plot, like the whole Switchblade Sam stuff is its own kind of separate thing. It doesn't really cross paths with Dennis until later. So I thought that was neat, and like how the storytelling was done, where it that stuff kind of weaved.
I remember seeing it as a kid, and the whole scene where Margaret makes Joey kiss her doll's butt
Yes.
made me so mad as a kid. I was so mad.
I want to clarify that the director of this movie was not John Hughes.
Okay.
It was Nick Castle.
But John Hughes was involved. He
John
was a
Hughes,
producer,
I
right?
think, was a producer. Yes, I was trying to find that. These are movies that Nick Castle was involved in, either as a screenwriter or a director.
Is he the Punisher's brother?
Maybe. Halloween.
Okay.
Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills. Dennis the Menace. The Last Starfighter. Major Pain.
Wow.
Escape from New York.
Wow.
Now that was John Carpenter, but he may have
But
written
he was
it.
involved, yeah.
Escape from L.A.
Yeah, that sounds good in New York. But it's so good.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The Fog.
Wow, okay.
Let's see. Hook.
Hey, okay.
And that's pretty much going to be what most people will recognize. A lot of stuff, a lot of projects about this movie or that, like documentaries and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, so this guy's had a little bit of a history, quite notable.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he actually directed this movie, and I really liked the cinematography. I liked
me too.
especially like the bike riding scenes.
There's some really nice shots
where they
in
would
this.
cut to the
Seriously.
teddy bear bouncing around
Yeah.
or be under Dennis's handlebars, looking up at him
Yeah.
while he's running.
The The scene where Dennis is riding his bike at night, he gets upset because Mr. Wilson goes off on him.
Yeah.
And he's riding his bike to the treehouse that he's made with his friends. They're like, the shots there are really good. Like, they're framed really well. And then also they do a good job. Like, Switchblade Sam, like, kind of pops out at him. And I feel like that worked. Because it's like he's there in the shot. You just, I mean, I didn't see him.
Really see him except because you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
It got Cohen to jump. You know, he's like, whoa.
And then the shots with there's a bridge in town. And I like that location shows up a few times.
Yeah.
And it's where like the kind of the climax of the story takes place is under this bridge. Switchblade Sam has Dennis held hostage. And he's getting a taste of Dennis the Menace's hexblade luck.
which is really effective because at the end of the day, Dennis isn't innocent.
Yeah,
he's
that's
not
what's great about
trying
it.
to cause trouble or hurt this guy. It's just working out for him, you know, and he's being helpful. Shows him how to how I would tie you up.
Dragonlance, where they just get into fucking trouble.
Yeah. People were always trying to tie me up, and I could always get out, and I know the way to do it. And he's like, the Christopher Lloyd's Switchblade or whatever was like, how would you do it?
I know. Which is like, all right, man, I'm not going to, like, there's several points in them. It's a PG movie. Get it, totally get it. But there's several points where I have to, like, where I noticeably am like, I have to suspend disbelief here because as much as this man has stolen, why is he why is he living under the bridge?
Right.
He got a shitload of money here.
He could have been long gone and lived very well.
And could look like he's not a criminal. Right. And probably do his job better.
Maybe get those teeth fixed.
Well, in the very beginning of the movie, when Mr. Wilson pretends to be asleep around Dennis, like, you know this kid, you hear him dump out an entire bottle of aspirin. He's got flashlights on you.
Aston, please.
Aston, thank you. Like, why are you pretending to be asleep? Wake up and tell him to leave the bedroom. Don't continue. Don't turn your back on him. Hear him dumping out
this is going to end well for me.
He's so obsessed with not having to deal with Dennis that he'd rather just let him burn himself out and leave. You know, maybe if I just ignore him, he'll go away.
There's a gag in this movie that I thought was really, really good. And it's when Dennis and Mr. Wilson are in the attic and Mr. Wilson is looking for garden lanterns. And he yells down to Martha if she's seen the lanterns. And so you know what he's looking for. And that's the setup. And then, like, there's this canoe that's like hanging from the rafters, and you see Dennis looking at the rope that's connecting it, and you know he's not going to be able to resist not undoing the rope.
Yeah,
and then when he does it, the canoe falls down, nearly chops Mr. Wilson's balls off, and then like the garden lanterns are inside the canoe and they tumble out on.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that a lot.
I did too.
I did like that a lot.
One of my favorite gags was the paint. Dennis.
And the grill.
So Dennis and Margaret and his buddy,
like paint.
They had gone to their tree house and they were fixing it up. And Dennis was like, "Well, it needs a coat of paint." And the way these kids are acting like adults, it was just fucking. It was like, this looks like it could use a coat of paint, you know. It's like, well, my dad has some paint. So he goes to get it and he drops it, of course, and he uses his shop vac to suck up all the paint. And he goes outside. The vacuum gets stuck. It stops working. And so he takes it outside and he's fucking with it and he turns it on reverse. And it shoots this giant glob of paint and sawdust chips up into the air and it lands on Mr. Wilson's piece of chicken on the grill. And then he eats it and he's like, tastes like paint and wood chips. I loved that.
It was the most Walter Matthau that Walter Matthau.
He's great in this movie.
He
really is
really
fantastic.
is.
And as much as I watched the old black and white show and loved it as a kid, Walter Matthau was like a way better Mr. Wilson.
I agree.
Than like the man who
dude
played
that
Mr.
played
Wilson
him.
on the show. He did. Fantastic job.
He really did. It was a fun movie, and I was glad I watched it. I had a good time with it.
Well, then by stark contrast, we have Dennis the Menace, or known in PAL regions as just Dennis.
Spoiler
From
alert.
Always Sunny.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Fuck this game.
This game
buddy.
is
I
not a good
fucking
video game.
hated
Yeah.
this video game.
Of all the games that I have controlled for the Super Nintendo, this is one of the worst feeling games to play.
Agreed.
It does not feel good.
Like
I agree.
just the jump, the platforms, the movement,
Spacing of things.
it feels awful.
Well, and then on top of that, they just bombard you with enemies.
yeah.
I mean, there is
Mr. Wilson
everything
is
is
a
an
pet
enemy.
hoarder. He's an animal hoarder. There's so many
he is.
fur
Clones
balls from
them.
Tiny Toons in his
Those
house.
look like fuchsia fur balls.
It's just like, what the fuck,
does.
man? It's like the game did come out in 1993, which I think is the same year the movie
It's the
came
same
out.
year, yeah.
So I guess they're kind of like, fuck, man, we don't have time. Just fill his house full of cats
Yeah.
and
Which
and
was
rats.
completely not screen accurate.
and coins and teacups and bowling balls. and
Everything hurts. Everything. Fish hurt you.
give him a water gun. Give Dennis a water gun. Does it do anything? No.
No,
It
nothing.
stuns mice. That's useful. Never.
But can't stun a cat.
Nope.
I know in later levels there are fire enemies that it'll stun for a second, but
That's nice. I didn't make it that far.
no,
Nope.
neither
I
did
didn't make it my hour.
No.
No.
I quit at 30 minutes,
was
man. I quit at 30
horrendous.
minutes. I hated
I
this.
got
couldn't get past the first part of the first level, and there are like 20 goddamn levels.
and it's so long. Like I played this game for maybe 20, 30 minutes as well. I got to the point where you go down in the basement.
Sure,
The
yeah.
basement goes on and on.
I got to
and
Mr. Wilson
on.
and noped out because that's auto death. You run into Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
It was frightening. Like I feel like when you get to Mr. Wilson, this game changes from an action platformer to like a fucking horror game. Because
Yeah.
like Walter Matt, it's like
It's like a
South Park
squat.
style where they like put the celebrity's face on like the cartoon is what it looked like. It was like these motherfuckers paid for the likeness of Walter Matthau and they wanted you to know it. It's like Big Head mode in NBA Jam.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly. It's just like
fucking
Big Head
crazy.
mode.
His face is like a third of the screen.
Like I see that picture, and the Walter Matthau that echoes in my head is Austin Powers Goldfinger, like Walter Matthau. Like he's turned to the side, big head mode in his bathrobe, and like if he gets you, that's just it.
Yeah.
Life
It's-
done.
Yeah,
over.
Your courage is your life bar is your courage bar, and it runs out completely.
Real quick.
I even did easy 9 lives. Couldn't fucking do shit in this game. Trying to get all these coins.
They-
and-
Same.
Yeah.
It
you
was-
know, it's vague what you have to
It
do or
is
what do you have to
vague.
do. I mean, it looks sort of like the actor that Dennis does.
It's
That's the best. That's one thing.
It
like,
was colorful.
yeah, it's very colorful.
Had colors in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of
All
it
of them.
have all the colors. We have an email, a letter from Brad.
Okay.
From Arizona. T's and P's for Tyler. Glad you're feeling better. This is the one I saw in the theater. I don't remember anything about it. Game Pro. We have the Game Pro review by Dennis the Menace by The Tummynator. Hey, Mr. Wilson. Hank Ketchum's toe-headed terror is back and he's wrecking the place. Mr. Wilson, Ruff, and Margaret are just some of the Sunday Funnies regulars in Ocean's tough but not very amusing side-scroller of Mice and Menace. Dennis the Menace suffers from one serious flaw. One?
Yeah, just one.
It's Achilles' heel.
Terminal cuteness. That's not the one I would have picked. Although there are enough levels and challenge, the basic run and jump antics aren't enough to hold your attention.
I agree with that.
You play Dennis, and you're on the lookout for Switchblade Sam, who's stolen some valuable coins from Mr. Wilson's safe. He's left the coins
Which is
strewn
his
throughout
address.
I
various
love
stages.
that scene too. Sorry to interrupt, but that's a great scene in the movie too, where like
I bet it's your address.
has like figured out what the combination is on the safe, and then Walter Matthau's
He's got
expression.
that look on his face
Looks like you just
fuck.
shoved his thumb in his ass. And he's very surprised about it.
That was a good scene. Coins throughout the various stages, including Mr. Wilson's house, the park, the boiler room, and the sewer. You work against... Why not the bridge? Why would they not do the train bridge, for fuck's sake? You work against the clock to find a certain number of large coins to get you on to the next level. The clock is like 900 seconds, which you need every single one of them.
I ran out of time, at least. Because like the first level, I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Exactly.
You have to like flip a switch in Mr. Wilson's room, but he'll catch you if you're not careful. So once I figured out how to get to the switch, I couldn't figure out how to flip the switch. I'm shooting it with the water gun. You have to shoot it with like a slingshot.
God.
And
That's
then,
terrible design.
And then once that happens, you have to figure out, okay, what did this switch do? And look for what changed.
Yeah.
Go back and retrace. And then it's like, oh, this ladder
In the
fell
vomit
down.
of color cats, cups, and bowling balls.
Yeah.
Game Pro continues, making life miserable is an aggressive onslaught of enemies and dangers such as mice, spitting fish, hot coals, and more. You get a pea shooter, a slingshot, and a water gun to fend off the hordes. Your supply of ammo is limitless, although your patience for the controls may not be. Switching from weapon to weapon is cumbersome. Dennis can walk, jump, and run, but the button controls are awkward. The graphics and sounds in Dennis are anything but menacing. The character sprites are cute, cartoonish, and squashed. Dennis's adversaries are very colorful, if uninspired. The backgrounds are well drawn but repetitive. In Mr. Wilson's house, for instance, it's hard to distinguish between the basement and the attic. The sounds are just as standard as everything else in the game. More voiceovers from Mr. Wilson or Dennis would have gone a long way. When you fire this game up, you hear a perfect rendition of Hey, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, wow. Okay. Then I played the game and was very disappointed.
I saw the ocean logo
when
I turned it on. I was like, oh, no.
The nerd said, yeah, Ocean is European LJN.
Oh,
so,
Ocean. Dennis the Menace is the game to play if you like long, involved side scrollers, kind of like a blonde cool spot. And if
Cool Spot is way fucking better. Holy shit.
I'm offended by that guy.
Yeah, that's a bad comparison.
Tummynator, check yourself.
And if you have plenty of time, you'll be challenged by the extensive gameplay and by the difficulty of certain parts of the game. Dennis is a menace any way you look at him. Okay, so Brad continues. 4 for graphics, which is generous.
Yes.
3.5 for sound control and fun factor.
I think is also extremely generous. I thought the sound was not, other than the Hey Mr. Wilson, like it was
boring.
The music is like it. I know all video game music loops, but this was like it needed more bars.
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's just like loop. It's like 3 bars or something, and it loops, and it's just like, I need to turn this off.
Yeah, no shit.
It's grating.
This is from the manual. The number of people who went to all this trouble for a measly $5 has to number in the double digits. What a deal. There's a thing that was in the manual that was a watch the movie, play the game, and save $5. There's a $5 mail-in rebate. You send your dated cash register receipt with store name and purchase for one Warner Home Video Dennis the Menace video cassette with the UPC barcode number written on the back of the register receipt, plus your dated cash register receipt with store name and purchase price circled for the Dennis the Menace video game, plus this original completed mail-in certificate. You go through all that, you get $5.
90s were a wild time.
$5 rebate.
That is some shit I would have done as a kid.
You would have had to buy this on VHS, buy the game, and then send the receipts to them, and they give you $5. Brad finishes.
If I would have had both of those things, I would have totally been like, fuck, I can get $5.
Man. I can go rent a better game.
Go buy a bullet and rent a gun. If you worked for Ocean of America, this is where you went to work. The Sweet D in the address makes me think they may have occupied the upstairs.
It's another
pretty much all the California addresses of old video game ads point to a place that kind of looks like this. Glamorous. It's a shopping center, and the bottom floor is Valley Tools.
I love that. I love that he looked up the address.
Yeah,
for that.
I do too.
That's fun.
From the form that you would mail in for the coupon.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
So anyway, thanks, Brad, for the nice email. That was fun. So, back to this travesty of a video game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very good.
It's not. This is one of my least favorite. I haven't been around as long as you guys in this podcast, but I've played some games that I have disliked. This one is in my top 5 least liked games so far, and I don't like
on the grand
I don't
scope,
like any of these fucking games.
This is in your bottom 5.
Yeah, it's I don't like any of these fucking games. I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't really truly liked very many at all from this system.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much opportunity for bad video games here because there's so many.
And you're coming in. You're coming in the trash years.
Yes, I am. I didn't get to do the good stuff, and that's fine. I don't mind that. But this game sucked. It frustrated me, and just the fact that it's so cumbersome, so complicated, so
Cucumbers.
it's cucumbersome. Sorry, I mispronounced it. It's just. I hated this game.
It's also boring.
It's boring.
It was when I would die in the game, I would be like, fuck, I have to like do it again. And it's not where it's like there are games that I play and I die and I'm like, well, that sucks that I've died, but at least the game is fun and I can enjoy getting back to this point. Dennis the Menace was not that. Dennis the Menace was like, and there are no passwords. There's not a password system in the game, which is also a problem.
Yeah.
I can't imagine playing through this entire video game.
It's definitely. I'd have to make a comprehensive list, but this is definitely, I'd say, bottom 25.
I'd put it in my bottom 100 for sure.
Yeah.
I don't. Outside of that, maybe it lands in the bottom 25 for me, but I'd have to
you have to really dig down.
I'd have to think about it more than I care to at the moment.
Yeah, and again, my list of the worst games ever is much shorter because I haven't been doing it as long. But this one's fucking on it.
No, you're dead on this one. This is
right there with Terminator.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I mean, and that one's worse for me.
Yeah, same.
But this one's not far behind.
This feels about as good as the Terminator Jump.
Yeah, because of
the Hank Hill flop.
They could have made it just a little bit. And their demographic here was children. There's no...
Yeah, no kid is going
to want
anything with this.
Put any energy into this thing. It's just too complicated. It's too hard to fucking have fun.
It's not fun. Yeah, it's difficult to have fun.
This was a clear cash grab. I think jump off the VHS marketing of this movie.
I think the virtual Bart is better than this game.
I could go for that.
I could play it a lot longer.
Yeah, me too. There was at least some variety.
I thought it was more entertaining than Dennis the Menace.
And that's a good franchise that keeps getting fucked over in video game form. But Dennis the Menace is a good franchise too, and this could have been a fun little game. There's so many things they could have done differently that would have just made this an enjoyable dessert on top of the movie, and that's one of the things that made me so mad because I like the movie so
really
much.
Good. I mean,
and I hated the game so much, and that's been rare for me that I've hated it that much. But here we are. So,
Did you guys have any achievements for it?
I have a couple of lazy achievements. Okay. Yes, my first achievement is Hello Neighbor. And to get Hello Neighbor, you escape when Mr. Wilson chases you because it's, as you mentioned, it is like Hello Neighbor. It's like when you startle the neighbor and he sees you and he chases after you. It's like that for me. It's like Cohen played a lot of Hello Neighbor when he was younger. And
I've never played it. But
you're basically Dennis the Menace going through Mr. Wilson's house.
Ken and I played it on Switch a lot. I bought it for him.
Yeah, you try not to get seen by the neighbor, and when he sees you, he chases you and kicks you out of his house.
Okay.
My next achievement
of this man.
My next achievement is you're a pest, a menace, a selfish, spoiled little boy, and I've no use for you. You took something from me that I can never get back, something that means more to me than you ever will. You understand? I don't want to see you. I don't want to know you. Get out of my way.
That shit hurt my feelings.
It did. It was mean. Mr. Wilson says this to Dennis in the movie. And that achievement for me is to play the game for more than 5 minutes that you will never get back. That's what I want to say to the game, Dennis the Menace. It was most.
But then you'll
appropriate
realize that what you said was wrong, and you'll go looking for the game.
No.
Okay.
No, that's only in the movie.
And then the game comes back to your house with a criminal and its wagon.
I want to hurt this game's feelings. I want this game to be ashamed to be alive, to be in existence. I hated it. Get out of my way.
Dave, you have any?
Yeah, I got a couple. First one is gotta Hank catch 'em all. Hank Ketchum, I think, is the creator of the Dennis the Menace comic.
That's correct.
Because when I booted the game up, I was like, oh, it's Hank Ketchum
It's
guys
Hank Ketchum.
involved.
Yeah.
So in order to unlock gotta Hank Ketchum all, collect all the coins in the first level. That's how you end it, which isn't a thing that you would, I feel like, know unless you read it in the instruction manual. Because it's like that first level, how do you end it?
Yeah, it's tough to
I feel
know.
like if you didn't, because there's a coin in that first level you just can't get.
Yep.
Yep.
And if
That's what I kept jumping at. Like,
Yep.
do I have to get more coins? I got
no,
more coins. I
that's
go
where
back.
it ends. That's the last coin you get. Of course, you know that because you've played a lot of video games. You know how these work.
Mm-hmm.
Get that coin last game over. In level in. Fuck this game.
Fuck it.
Next achievement is what do they got that I ain't got? In order to unlock what do they got that I ain't got? Have your courage reduced to 1 heart. Which I thought was interesting. That's a Cowardly Lion
Yes.
reference.
Mm-hmm.
But the sound designer for this game
Adam.
was Tinman. I thought that was nice.
Because the sounds were tinny.
Yeah. I actually looked his name up because I didn't like the music that much. I was like, who's responsible for this?
He works at Valley Tool downstairs.
He was the other delivery person who just had a few spare hours.
Pick up a shift at Valley Tool every week to make ends meet because he sucked at making sounds.
My last achievement is bring a mop and a bucket. In order to unlock bring a mop and a bucket while you're in Mr. Wilson's house, shoot a cat with a water gun 69 times. It doesn't do anything. A cat doesn't care.
Nope.
That's it. That's all I got.
I've got 2. First one being Dennis, the don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Yeah, nice.
Laugh at how bad this game is.
Okay.
And the other is the wrong kid died.
God.
Play the other Dennis game.
I didn't know about this. Is this the English?
The English Dennis the Menace released on the same day. The comic back however long ago. This is he wears a red and black striped sweater, black spiky hair, tons of different renditions just like this Dennis the Menace. So equally as popular, just the British version, completely unrelated.
Oh my God.
It's like the British version of The Office.
Yeah.
How much do you think this game is? If you were to buy Dennis the Menace for the Super Nintendo, what would you expect to pay for it?
$15.90 through $16.
$16.
$10.99.
$10.99 from Tyler. Actual retail value of Dennis the Menace for the Super Nintendo, loose on average, according to PriceCharting.com, at the time of this recording, is $10.49. Very close.
Damn.
Very close.
50 cents.
Damn.
Exactly
All
50
right.
cents off.
Is it worth it? I'm assuming.
For a collector, $10. Why
But
not?
for your own pleasure, no.
No.
Yeah.
I'd say buy it if you're just if you're wanting to bulk up your collection, because $10 games are apparently kind of hard to come by.
Not a dime a dozen.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say it'd be worth it for a collector, but otherwise, hell no.
This would be on the bottom. I'm not saying I would not buy it,
Right.
but they're also like, well, what else is there
Yeah.
that I could buy right now?
I got
instead?
I got $15.
I got my $5 rebate. What can I buy?
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have this on VHS, by the way? What if you send them a receipt from like secondhand?
Yeah. This is the same deal like what I never got around to doing for the.
Sir, we're a hardware store. What do you guys think Flopsy might have to say about Dennis the Menace?
I would say they're going to give this game 2 stars and that it is uncommon.
2 stars, uncommon. Tyler, let's say you.
1.5 common.
1.5 common. I saw it earlier when I was looking, so I can't play. But I'm happy to reveal the answer. According to Flopsy, a.k.a. the ultimate Nintendo guide to the SNES library, 1991 through 1998 by Pat Contry.
I appreciate the Vanna treatment.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great every time. You know, she makes $228,000 per episode.
Per episode.
Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
It's food for thought.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
And as rich as
chose
fuck.
the wrong career path for sure.
Yeah.
Well, good for her. I like
yeah,
it
good for her. Fuck yeah, Vanna.
Yeah.
Love Vanna. Saw
That's
her
how
in
she
a
buys
movie.
her adrenochroma and stays youthful forever.
Saw her in an 1981 or 82 horror film called Graduation Day last week on Joe Bob Briggs.
She's in it?
She's in it.
Like as like
very
a
young.
main like a
No, she's more of a secondary character.
but like more than a cameo.
Yeah,
Like,
she's
you know,
had a
got
couple of little
speaking
scenes,
parts and
yeah.
stuff. That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Flopsy.
Courtesy of Monster Mold Mike and a shadowy, mysterious benefactor, Dennis the Menace. 2 stars.
Yes.
Come on.
Oh, we both got a piece of that one. Denis de Menace.
Yes.
I love all the TikToks of Tony Soprano being the captain of the Enterprise.
No, I have not seen
I've sent you guys a few. They're fucking good.
Yeah. Are you sending them on Discord or are you sending them through TikTok?
Some I've sent on Discord, some are on TikTok.
I think I saw that you sent me a message on TikTok earlier, but I haven't had a chance to look. So maybe that's what it was.
There's a 100% better chance that I will click it if it comes through Discord. Because I go on TikTok, I watch it, and I see the notifications at the bottom. I'm like, nope, not for me. No, thank you. The reviewer likened this to the Addams Family.
Ugh.
I mean, I feel like Dennis the Menace is worse.
I like
but
the Addams Family.
I also can kind of see where they're coming from as far as you're a small person running through a house.
Yeah.
Yes, and to that end is where the similarities stop.
See what we're doing next week?
Sure.
Oh, and while we're doing this, just so we let everyone know, we've got a lot of downtime coming for people traveling. Tyler's traveling. We got
June sucks.
June sucks. We got Independence Day coming up. Not the movie, but the actual American holiday.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. I do not know when we are going to record this episode because we may have to throw in another all calls or all drafts or something coming up. Just fair warning. We are hopefully going to be back on schedule soon, but we will continue to publish. It's just what we publish may not be as much game content as we would like until we can get all that stuff taken care of.
So I rolled 26. Just going on the list, 26 is Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures, which we have done.
Yes.
So we'll shift down to the next one,
Okay.
which is Judge Dredd, which we have done.
Yes.
Part of the
Shift
greatest
down.
trilogy on the SNES.
Yep.
Yep.
Shift down one more to The Jungle Book, which we have done.
Done that
Shift down one more to Jurassic Park. Done that.
recently.
Yep.
Very
Shift-
Ocean. That's another Ocean jam.
Ocean hit,
So we fall down one more to Last Action Hero. Done
which
that.
we have done.
Go down to the next one, Lawnmower Man.
Whew, thank God we've done that one already. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I don't want to watch that.
Speaking of bottom 25.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh my God. That game sucks so bad. The movie is God, I don't know if it's worse or better.
That's a tough call.
The movie's super bad.
I watched it a lot. We watched that movie a lot. We only had so many tapes. And we rolled the dice and bought that one. Oops.
Yeah.
Pierce, you let me down, brother.
Uh-huh.
Jeff, you let me down, brother. Yeah, I expected more out of both of you.
After Lawnmower Man is Lethal Weapon.
Okay. Another recent jam.
After that is The Lion King.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
done that one a long time.
So,
Okay.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Oh.
I thought we had done that one.
No, we did Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh. Okay. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was directed by Kenneth Branagh. It also starred Kenneth Branagh in a time in Kenneth Branagh's life where he was as much Gilderoy Lockhart as he will ever be. Before Gilderoy Lockhart was a thing. Kenneth Branagh was very full of himself and a little bit of an overactor. Now, he's come a long way, but I'm going to have some things to say about him next time.
All right.
When we talk about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Okay.
Frankenstein. I wish we were playing young Frankenstein.
Same. Putting on the Ritz.
Well, Frankenweenie even.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes, not SoundCloud, not Stitcher, but on Spotify, YouTube, all over the goddamn place. We got all sorts of shit going on, but most importantly, we have Patreon.
This is a part of the show I've started becoming fond of calling Money Please. Patreon.com/TADPOG if you'd like to give us money. For as little as $1 a month, you can have access to our bonus content. We're currently working on a Dark Tower, 8-part Dark Tower series. We've got 3 of those in the can, ready to rock. With our upcoming schedule, again, we're having some trouble getting those recorded, but we're going to finish it and start publishing those soon. So get your money in if you haven't already. We have a list of executive producers. These are the fine folks who donate $20 or more to the show every single month. And I'm going to read their names right now. Starting with Cubicle Monkey, Plinko Nick Price, Usurper Grimm, Gamebug Prime Nathan Eaton, Pinball Airplane Archmage Chris Edler, sorry you couldn't be on this episode, Derek Pope Sandwich, Cthusiast Jeff Miners, Drinksmith Joey Webster, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, Louisville correspondent Princess Consuela Banana Hammock, Flavor Trick, Taryn Dahl, congratulations on your marriage, but get ready to lose that title.
Uh-oh.
We got one coming up, folks. We'll tell you when that happens. And last but not least, Canadian Turbo Nerd Thomas. Thank you so much for your generous donations. This is for everyone. It really helps, and we're very grateful that you, in this, especially in this economy, that you would dig so deep
Hell
to give
yeah.
us money. That's
Yes.
nice. Thanks to Dane, Backlog Banisher, Mr. Puzzles for putting our show up on YouTube every week, and once again, thanks to Brad from Arizona for writing us letters, telling us things about the games that we choose to play.
Tyler, if you're gonna give this game a beard, sums up how you feel about it. What kind of beard would it be?
I don't know the movie. As soon as you said that, I immediately remembered, and I've never been able to find the movie again. But there was
Lost
a movie
Media?
where they were it was these 2 like fast food workers in a desert. They go inside a cactus and order some sort of food, and hot chocolate that ends up looking and smelling like shit bursts out of the wall and coats the guy's face. So
Joe Dirt?
Joe a hot shit beard
Okay.
from this thing I cannot remember.
Is that better or worse than a cold shit beard?
I think a cold shit beard is better because at least the smell will be dampened by the cold temperature.
Okay, that's
Hot heat is going to exacerbate the smell.
I agree. You're right. That is. Oof. Yeah. I don't know.
It's got to stick to you if it's hot.
Oof.
Cold might just bounce off you.
Yeah, let's hope. If you were to give this, Tyler, if you were to give this game a pair of glasses, it sums up how you feel about it. What kind of glasses would you give it?
The testicle spectacles of being teabagged by just the dirtiest Magic the Gathering player at a con.
Okay. The Switchblade Sam of 3 colored decks.
Just greasy and earth sodden testicle goggles.
Okay. All right. Excellent. I hate it.
Yep. How do we want to close this one out? After our theme song being Seymour Drive, link to the track, foundationstones.com.
As Dennis the Menace, or, I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So until next time. Hey,
Tropical
Capricorn!
Did you guys notice?
Harmonize a little bit there.
I know.
We all did the same
Called
thing.
Broccoli Rob.
For once.
I got really mad. Did I tell you guys about getting mad at AI for not being able to name
Yes.
George Costanza aliases?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, great.
You told us that last time.
Okay. Well, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember.
Because I really couldn't remember.
TADPOG is hosted and produced by Tyler Holland, Dave Moore, and Ian Chandler. New episodes published Wednesdays each week and are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else podcasts are hosted. Have a question or comment for the hosts? Call us at 270-883-2555 and leave us a voicemail. If we like it, we'll play it on the show and respond. Want to send us something? You can do that at TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. If you absolutely must send us a food item, please use caution and good judgment when doing so. Tasty snacks that look or smell funky or are past their expiration date by the time we get to them will be thrown away. Bonus content is available at patreon.com/tadpog with a minimum donation of $1 per month. You can join in on the conversation by visiting our Discord at bit.ly/tadpog Discord. Registration is free and we'd love to see you there. Thanks for listening, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our show so you don't miss an episode. Now, where did I put that stinger? Oh, here it is.
And now, a dramatic reading. Girls ask me why I fuck so much. I say, what's wrong, baby girl, with a quick nut? 'Cause you're the one and shouldn't be mad. I won't tell your mama if you don't tell your dad. I know he'll be disgusted when he sees your pussy busted. Won't your mama be so mad if she knew I got that ass? I'm a freak in heat, a dog without warning. My appetite is sex. 'Cause me so horny. Ah, me so horny. Ah, me so horny. Ah, me so horny. Me love you long, Tim.
Me so horny is my favorite Jar Jar Binks line in Star Wars.
Believe it!